Introducing letters. Introducing letters is something that I hear lots of parents wondering about. After all, letters are a key element to beginning to read and write, and many parents love the idea of giving their kid a head start. When do you do it? How? Is my kid ready? How long does it take them to learn them all? Are the sorts of questions that I get asked. I will unpack the way that I tackle these issues with my kids in this video, and further advance into other areas to support your children in learning to read throughout the next couple of videos. If that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, hit that subscribe button now and we'll get started. Introducing letters. Introducing letters is something that I hear lots of parents wondering about. After all, letters are a key element to beginning to read and write, and many parents love the idea of giving their kid a head start. When do you do it? How? Is my kid ready? How long does it take them to learn them all? Are the sorts of questions that I get asked. I will unpack the way that I tackle these issues with my kids in this video, and further advance into other areas to support your children in learning to read throughout the next couple of videos. If that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, hit that subscribe button now and we'll get started. Introducing letters. Introducing letters is something that I hear lots of parents wondering about. The first question is, when should I start introducing letters? There is no hard or fast rule here. People will tell you not to worry, as you don't need to introduce letters until your child is ready. But what does that actually mean? To me, ready means taking an active interest in letters, or recognising their purpose to some degree. Though this can only happen with exposure to letters. So read to your child frequently and encourage them to look at the letters in the book. Reading doesn't have to mean books. Show them you reading in everyday life situations too. Point out signposts, names on products that you buy in the shop, the recipe that you found online, the message that you just got from mummy or daddy at work, the information boards at a museum. There are so many opportunities. Show them you reading this and explain what you're doing and what you're... As you read, run your finger under the words so the children learn that... As you read, run your finger under the words so the child learns to recognise that in English we read from left to right and top to bottom. Books where your child has a chance to join in by pressing a button or saying a word to match the picture in the right place of the text is great for this too. After a while, your child may begin to ask you questions, such as, what does that say? Or express frustration that they can't just pick up the book themselves and enjoy it without you. This is a great sign that they are ready to take things further. However, I do also believe that waiting for these signs can be a bit misleading too. Letters can be introduced in a play setting earlier than this if you wish, and children can become familiar with them before they really understand their purpose. So I would say it's important to keep instruction to a minimum if you're going to do this, but instead you can invite the child to experience the look and the feel of letters. And when they pick them up, simply state their phonics sound to them. Children learn quickly to identify other things in this way. They recognise their cup or ball, or even a range of plastic toy animals. So why not letters? Even as they get older and show a more active interest, I would advise against more formal styles of learning when introducing letters. There is a lot to learn with reading and writing. It's going to take them a long time until they're reading proper books fluently and understanding them and their content. We need to keep them interested and enthused, rather than have them burn out before they get there. Here are a few quick ideas of activities that I've done with my kids to keep them interested in learning their letter sounds. Number 1. Letter hunting. Here I hide some letters around the house or garden and ask the child to find them. They need to bring them back and match them to the letters that I've got written down. And as they do this, we identify the letter sounds together. 2. Make letters out of train track. My kids love this because they're really into trains. I make the letter shape and identify it with the child. Then I have them drive their train around them as they say the letter sound. 3. There are many online games or songs or programs that you could use. I don't like using too much screen time, but this is another way to change it up and keep kids interested. It can be great for helping you as adults too if you're unsure of a particular sound. After all, many of us were not taught to read this way. Number 4. Hiding letters in tough trays. The letters can be hidden under things like oats or rice for the child to find. Each time a letter is found, you can help your child to practice the corresponding phonic sound. Alternatively, you can ask them to find a letter that makes the particular sound that you've chosen. Stretch their thinking by asking them to identify letters that are still half covered. What could this letter be? Why do you say that? Are there any other letters it could be? Cover a bit more of the letter. Uncover a bit more of the letter. Has the child changed their mind? Why or why not? Number 5. Identify letters on signs and other places while you're out and about. As they get more confident, you can go to the signs that you've previously read to your child and ask them if they can recognise any of the letters. Number 6. Find letters to use in toys or in artwork. We have letter puzzles, matching games, sponges that we use to print with paint, letter stickers. These can be a challenge to find though, as many of them are only uppercase letters. Children obviously do need to know these, but they often see the lowercase letters instead, making up the majority of the words in their books. So keep an eye out for these too. Number 7. Fine motor letter retrieval tasks. Ask the child to fish out letters from water using a net, or to move letters from one place to another with tongs. As they do this, identify each letter sound with them, or ask them to retrieve a certain letter. You can use some of the Curious Kids 101 products to help with this learning. Find a range of phonic resources in my shop now. The link is in the description. The next step with understanding letters is to understand the way that they work together to make words. This is something that we'll look at in more detail next time, so subscribe if you don't want to miss out. However, I will cover the first step of this today. The first step is recognizing the sound that begins each word. The first step is to recognize the initial sound of the word. Decide on the sounds that you're focusing on. I start with 2, or maybe 3, but too many makes it really hard for the child and can be completely overwhelming. Collect items from around your home that start with your chosen sound. Take care here that it's actually the sound that you're focusing on and not the letter. For example, if I'm looking at A, the most common sound it makes is ah, but it doesn't make that sound in the word alien. It sounds more like A than ah. Place your chosen items onto a table with designated areas for sorting each letter sound. Encourage the child to choose an item. Check they know what it is first. Say the name of the item a few times. Say it fast, and then slower and slower and slower, until the different sounds within the word become clear to hear. Ask the child what sound they hear first. If they struggle, say the word slowly yourself, and then cover your mouth after the first sound. Then ask them to try covering your mouth after the first sound. My boys found this really funny, but it really did help them to recognise the first sounds in words. Once it's identified, you can place the item next to its corresponding first sound letter. When they get good at games like this, you can try things like I Spy to really help them master the skill.
Hopefully these activities will last long in the memory and
Let
help
me
my
know if
boys
you
to
find
consider
any of
more
these
carefully
activities
the
really
choices they
helpful with
make
your
as they
kids.
grow up.
And don't forget to join me again next time
Happy
to
Earth
discover
Day.
how I took these skills further
Of course, remember
into
that
word
these
reading.
lessons shouldn't just be
Until
restricted
next
to
time,
one day.
keep inspiring learning.
Appreciation for the world around us and looking after our planet is a lifelong
So that's
activity.
it for this time. Let me know if you find any